I shot Silence first at the beginning of last year, and then I had about 4 months in between, and then went and shot this in Australia. And yeah, I mean, this came about really just fortunately. It was one of those scripts that you just can't put down, which is a rare thing, as we know in screenplays. And I just kind of was totally moved by this man's story, and it's one of those ones, because I find it very easy to say no to things, and I find it very hard to say yes. But with this, it was like my longing to do it outweighed my doubt about whether I could do it, which was great. So my longing to do it was enormous. So yeah.
What was it about the screenplay that you said, I have to do this? Like, what was it that made your decision easy?
Well, I just think this man his story and his spirit and his soul has the potential for real healing for an audience. I really do believe that his actions and his being is a tremendous example of what a human being is capable of, what we're all capable of in our own way. And I think the fact that it comes out of not an attempt to be heroic, not trying to be a great man, but his actions come out of simply wanting to be himself. No better, no worse, just who he is, which I think is a really remarkable example for us in this very egocentric age that we're in, and the culture that we're in, which is incredibly, narcissistic, and we don't need to be told that. It's very, very clear that we're in very shallow trouble right now, and I think that someone like Desmond is just a profound reminder of our potential to take care and love each other in a very, very simple and humble and sincere way.
When he is pushed to the brink, when Desmond is pushed to the brink, and he still does not pick up a gun. And when you're reading or filming, especially when you are filming the battle sequences, think to yourself, man, it'd be just so easy for him to pick up a gun and fire back and protect himself. And maybe, he already did save 75 people, but it just really stayed true to his values. I mean, did it make it easy for you to understand that while you were actually filming the scenes?
No, it's insane, right? I don't think it's a sane man. And that's what's remarkable. And I believe that he had to fight those impulses all the time. I do believe that he had a very natural Screen Australia and the Australian government, guys. Yeah, right. Sorry. The fact that he didn't is absolutely remarkable in the most heinous of circumstances. When the character Smitty says, "Just why don't you pick it up? It's not going to bite." I mean, there's something mystical. There is something very mysterious that happens because he stays true, because he does not compromise his core belief that he got some kind of spiritual, divine assistance on the battlefield. I mean, I'm not a Christian man. I'm not a Buddhist. I'm kind of pantheist. So, but I'm agnostic. I do believe in something greater than myself, and I do believe in oneness and how we're all connected. And I believe that Desmond's story is something that transcends his own specific path, his own specific religion. And that was something that was very, it hit me very, very hard in the reading of it, in the doing of it, and in the researching of it. Just the fact that his story transcends any specific religion. It transcends dogma. It was he had a code that was almost written on his soul. It wasn't anything learned or intellectual as far as I could understand. I think it was like an allergic reaction, I think for me it's like me and peanuts. I'm allergic to peanuts. That's a little tidbit for you. I do think it was that much of it just felt in his bones wrong. And I think it's important to add, he did not judge anybody else for participating or not participating in the way that they did. And this is something that is very, very vital about him as a human being. He embodied the idea of live and let live. And it's explicit with how he treats, you know, the guys in his own battalion, and how he treats the Japanese soldiers that he tried to save and sent down back to his, like, the American tents, like medical tents. That's someone who's transcended the absurdity of war and has a true understanding of the sanctity and the sacredness of life and every breath. You know, I wanted to know him, because there's so much noise about Mel out there, and some of it is his own making. You know, it is what it is. And yeah, so I really wanted to meet him and spend time with him before I could commit. I'm, you know, obviously I felt kind of, you know, I checked in with myself after spending actual time with the man and talked to him about that period of time and the work that he's done since on himself, with himself, his sobriety, his alcoholism, and you know, all I can say is the man I met and the man that I know is not the man that that his you know, that those events have created and I'm not excusing the words that he's used in any way, but I am saying that the man I know is not that man. So I was like, let's go to work. If you don't drink, let's go to work.
What was it about Mel Gibson, the director, that sort of separated him from other directors that you have worked with now?
Yeah, well, obviously you can feel that it's a visceral, experiential thing. We're not just kind of eating our popcorn and numbing out, I hope. I know I didn't feel that way when I watched it. I'm a passionate believer in this film, and it's really nice to be able to say that, because it's not often that you get to say that about a film that you're a part of. And so for me, you know, the viscera and the muscularity and the kind of bone-shaking, open heart of the film is really what Mel is. He is this big, open-hearted, loving man. This is my experience and everyone's experience who knows and works with him. And so yeah, so it was very instinctive, very present in the moment. There was not much talk. It was very kind of gosh, it was kind of like being in a river and kind of just going with the flow of it and seeing where we landed.
What was sort of, you know, some of the hardest times that you had? Was it during, I'm assuming during the physical filming of the war scenes, that you just, like, did you have moments where you just went, all right, I really have to trust my director?
To be honest, Scott, I find every moment on set a challenge. I don't know how to do this, and it's a mystery to me. It really, really is, and I think that's the way it's always going to be. I think that's the way it has to be. I think that's the way it is when you're attempting to create something out of nothing. You know, I think everyone feels that. The writer feels that. The director feels that. But the key for me, as my experiences, the short experience I've had as an actor in films, the filmmaker is everything. If you can't, for me, this is me, because if I can't give my heart and soul, and know that the person that I'm giving it to is not gonna take care of it, then I can't go to work. It has to be like you're going to work with a great leader, a great father, a great mother, someone who you know is going to use you to serve.
Okay. Do you feel like it's hard to sort of come out of those moments when you just are so committed, like, to decompress? Or are you method? Do you stay in character?
I try and stay as much as possible because it helps. Not because it's a better method or a less good method. It just helps me, because otherwise I feel like my energy will dissipate. And as much as I can cheat myself into the reality that we're trying to portray, then that's great. And but no, I wouldn't say it was any better or worse. And yeah, it is hard to let things go at the end of the day, because the body doesn't know it's not real. You know, you're trying to convince your body and your heart and your mind that what you're experiencing Yeah, it's really fucked up, actually. Like, I was, today I got home, because I'm shooting something right now with this wonderful film. Did you guys see It Follows?
Oh, yeah!
So I just started working with David Robert Mitchell, who wrote and directed It Follows. It's his new film, and it's really fucked up, this film. It's so dark and brilliant, and we had like our third day today, so excuse me if I'm a bit punch drunk. But it's very, like, I realize that I'm really getting having terrible dreams and like getting really deeply disturbed by what he's written and trying to inhabit it. I mean, it's wonderful. Like, I want to know the whole human experience, and I want to, you know, all the darkness and the lightness and the kind of elevated and the hell and the heaven, all of it. But my God, like, it really is. It's an interesting job being an actor. It's a privilege, really. But then sometimes I'm like, I just like, I'd like to have, like, you know, a wife and like a child that I can like fuck up. And no, but you know what I mean. Like, there's kind of I had that moment today. I'm just sharing with you exactly how I'm feeling today. So there you go.
What was the moment making Hacksaw Ridge where you were surprised, where Mel Gibson surprised you as a director?
It was in the consummation of the marriage scene where myself and Teresa are are gonna finally, you know, like good Christians, we waited, and you know, it's this very tender, very sacred moment, and Mel was just, he couldn't, I don't know what he was making jokes about, like shit, and like, I don't know, it was very surprising, but what it did was, weirdly, it created this real giddiness, and like, he kind of kept on puncturing the bubble, and it kind of created this bubbly, enjoyable kind of. So I think it's all purposeful. The moves that he makes, no matter how they don't feel purposeful at the time sometimes. But no, he's absolutely brilliant. Like, I can't speak highly enough about him as a filmmaker. And I don't think films get made like this anymore, where you feel like the last time I felt like this in a film was watching that Paul Greengrass movie, United 93. Remember that? The one on the plane about the 9/11. United 93. Sorry, my English accent.
Yeah, that was 2006.
Yes, and I just remember screaming at the screen. Anyway, so I'm really, really happy that Mel's back making movies.
And how gnarly did it get with like the rats?
Oh yeah, rats. Yeah, I mean, you know, here's the thing. It's a serious answer to a silly question. You know, gosh, not a silly question. I mean, like, you know, a kind of light question about rats. You know what I mean.
Some people don't like rats.
No, I hate rats. But I think when, you know, we felt such a responsibility to do justice to the people who are actually in that kind of hellish environment and have to go through that in order to protect us back home. I mean, rats is not the point here. The point is the rats were a small, horrible element of, you know, hopefully attempting to honor the experience of veterans who have been through similar or the same or will do in the future, and to not turn away and flinch from the horror. But yes, rats. I don't like rats. I didn't enjoy being with the rats. But they were really good rats. They were really like incredible, hitting their marks and kind of like the real hero of this film though is the guy that the rats were crawling on in the water, because he was a live guy. That wasn't like an actual dead person. No, that was like a live human being that was like having to hold his breath, laying in this disgusting murky water while I was, you know, acting up a storm next to him, fucking like chewing the scenery next to him, and then a bloody couple of rats on his face and body, and every time in between takes, we're all just like bowing down to him, and he's just like, he is the movie. He is Hacksaw Ridge.
This Vaughn's awesome. I love this Vaughn. He improvises a lot. How is that to work with?
That first scene where he's walking through the barracks and we're all kind of standing to attention. The guy who he nicknames Chief, you see the sweat on his face. that wasn't makeup. That was just about 15 minutes of Vince improvising, like, and his only direction was don't move, don't fucking move, and don't smile, and don't fucking break. And it's impossible. It's absolutely impossible. And it gets to the point with Vince where, you know, he'll be saying something to you that is serious, like just off camera, and he's saying something to you in between takes, like something serious, and I'm like cracking up, and he's like, no, but seriously, and I'm like even the way he says no, but seriously makes me like laugh more, and I think he started to get kind of upset with me because I just thought everything he said was geniusly funny, even though he was like confiding his deepest kind of self with me. It was a problem, but yeah, no, he's. Yeah, Chicago. Well, hey, has anyone checked the Cubs? What's happened? 8-6 Cubs.
10th inning.
Cubs are up 8.
Uh-huh.
Bottom of the 10th.
Yes, 10th inning.
Oh,
Yes.
That's exciting
man.
stuff.
I know.
Oh,
Okay.
man. This sounds like some game. But
Anyway.
it's all a great movie, so, and we're here with Andrew Garfield. But that's awesome.
Okay, Cubs.
Andrew, you've had a very stellar career, and I'm just curious to know that since you worked with Mel, is there a directing bug that you're looking to itch or scratch, maybe?
Great question.
Thanks for the question. And yes, I love Scott Metz too. Yeah, I mean, why not? Well, one day, not right now. Not right now, but I'm definitely interested. There was a time where I thought I'm quitting acting and I'm just going to try and direct because I had a tricky few experiences where you kind of like, and sometimes you're at a job and you don't really get to be who you are, and you kind of get bent into a pretzel, or you're trying to get fit into a different shaped hole that you're not the shape of. I had that experience a few times, and I was like, I can't do this. I'm not interested in feeling so compromised. And then, of course, there's Mel and Mr. Scorsese, and it's like, okay, I'm all right for a minute. Like more than all right. So grateful. Yeah, they're incredibly fortunate. But being with those two specifically made me go, I don't know if I could do it. And I don't know if there's any point in me doing it because people like this are doing it. But who knows? Maybe if there's a story that I feel like I'd be good at telling, maybe, but only then. Otherwise, I'm going to let the professionals do it.
I'm just curious, for when working with Mel Gibson, how many takes did he do? How did he treat you as an actor as opposed to Fincher or Scorsese, where, I mean, they do a lot of takes and, very perfectionist with their work. How is he different from them?
Yeah, so the question, you guys had the back maybe. Mel's very, when he gets it, and he moves on. When he doesn't get it, he doesn't get it, and you don't move on ever. He's very specific. He also hires people that he really feels like he can trust, and he gets out of the way. Like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But then when it's broke, you fucking fix it. But yeah, then with Fincher, it's like, you get to take 40, and you overhear him saying to the video guy, okay, first print, delete 39 through 1. And you're like, there had to be one moment in that where I did something that was truthful or vaguely interesting. But I don't think I was supposed to. I heard that once, and I don't think I was supposed to hear it. But it was kind of amazing because that confidence. And then with Mr. Scorsese, he's been wanting to make this particular film for 35 years. It's been kind of rolling around his heart for a long time. So with this, he was very, very precise. But again, kind of similar to Mel in the sense that if it wasn't broken, he just let it happen. And sometimes he would say, we would do one take, and he'd say, okay, no, that's good, we're going to move on. I'm like, no, I need. And he's like, don't fuck me up in the edit. I don't want options. I just want what I saw is what I want. And I'm like, no. I want to fuck you up in the edit as much as possible. And I think I did in certain ways, which I'm very proud of, because he's been chopping and slicing and but he's so exact. He's so fucking exact. And with this one especially, I'm really excited for everyone to see it because it's very, it's profound what he's done with the most recent film he's made. The question was about how we did the war stuff and how we made it how we approached it. And basically it's Mel. Mel, it was in the script, but Mel kind of did, that's all Mel, in terms of how compelling it is, and how clear it is, and how varied and specific it is. That's all Mel. He has this visualization and this incredible imagination and way of telling a story in such chaos that somehow you can follow the thread through. For me, it was very easy. I just showed up, one guy here, one guy there, give me the next guy, I'll do the next guy. That was it for me, and we all really relied on Mel to make sure that he always describes it as, you know, when it's like staging a football game, like a sporting match. That's how he, you know, in terms of screen direction, in terms of you know, the build of a battle, and he had half the budget he had on Braveheart and half the days, and I don't think that shows. I think he made it look like a $100 million movie as far as I'm concerned, and really kind of puts us as an audience really in the thick of it. So yeah, it's really all Mel, and I won't pretend to know how he did it, because it's kind of part of his magic.
What Mel kind of put you guys through? Did he make them all bully you during the training and things like that?
Yeah.
Because I'm just thinking of, you know, other war films where they kind of did that, Saving Private Ryan and stuff like that.
Yeah, they were all sweethearts. That was the thing. They were all like, I had to kind of provoke them into ostracizing me as much as possible for the times where that was necessary, because otherwise they were just so happy to be there, you know, and but no, I mean, there was a lot of love, and I think one of the reasons why the film works for me is, on an emotional level, is that there was a real true bond of love between all of the young actors in those barracks, and I think that really comes across. Like the scene that always kills me when I see this film is in the foxhole with the 5 guys after the first assault. And the teach can't light his cigarette, and Grease kind of helps him out with it. And they go around naming the names of the guys who didn't make it through. And for whatever reason, even though I don't know the characters they're talking about, it just kills me, because the way I don't know. But that's really a real testament to Mel's casting and the specific actors, and the devotion, really, the devotion to the process and the devotion to each other. I think that's the one thing that, you know, whether you're an atheist or an agnostic or whatever your beliefs, it's ultimately you and your brothers and you and your sisters out there that you're charging ahead for and with. It always comes down to the man or the woman next to you, and that's what they're doing it for. I think that's the majority of people who serve, as far as my understanding. That's the experience that happens in the moment.
What do you do when you love a movie? What's word of mouth these days? Social media. So go on Facebook, go on Twitter, go on Instagram. I don't know if you're still using MySpace. So make sure you tell everyone how much you love Hacksaw Ridge, to see Hacksaw Ridge, and thank you for joining us, and thank you.
Thank you. Thanks very much. Thank you.